Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to get this really easy smoky emerald eyeliner look for all of your holiday parties and events. It's definitely wearable enough, I think, though, that you could wear this during the daytime as well if you just want to wear it as an everyday look. Before I get started, because I do want to jump right into the tutorial, before I get started I want to show you something cool that I found the other day. These are the Revlon Fantasy Lengths False Lashes, and I found these at CVS the other day when I was kind of browsing the aisles. They had two different sets of falsies. They had a set that was called Flirty, which is more of like all one length. The lash strip was all one length. And these are the Intensifying, which were kind of more like the different clusters of lashes are more like different lengths and really flared out. So I thought that would look a little bit more natural. So I actually used them in the tutorial today. So I'll show you how I use them later on in this video. But I actually really like these a lot. They're really nice. And the cool thing about this too is they have an invisible band, so it kind of says that in the packaging down there, which is really nice because it makes it so much easier to camouflage your false lashes into your natural lash line. Sometimes you'll get them where it's like a white it's like a white strip and it's so blaringly obvious, and it takes a while to even, you know, sometimes with black eyeliner that can be difficult to cover up. So I was really I was excited to try these, and I really like them. That's just a little side note for you, but I'm going to show you how I use these lashes and how I did everything else to achieve this look. So if you want to see what I did, keep watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime my eye for this really intense liner look, and I'm using my Urban Decay Primer Potion in Eden, and all I did with that is basically applied a little bit on the lid, and you only need a tiny bit of this. Actually I already did this, but my camera wasn't filming and I didn't know. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit more just for the sake of showing you. But the reason you really want to do this is just to make sure you get a little bit in that lower lash line, since we're going to be using some eyeliner. You want to make sure you have a really good base for it to stick to. Next I'm going to take my Smashbox eyeshadow in Bliss, which is a really pretty creamy highlight shade, and I'm taking a bunch of that color on a blending brush, and this is an E40 brush from Sigma, and I'm actually applying that color to the inner half of my eye, and especially in the inner corner. And then what you can also do is apply it to your brow for a highlight. Then I'm going to take a more precise brush, this is my E55, and place a little bit more in my tear duct. Well, not in my tear duct, but just in that inner corner, and then sweep it along the lower lash line about halfway. Now I'm going to be using one of my favorite MAC eyeshadows. This is Retrospec, and it's kind of a really sparkly beige. It's gorgeous. And again on the E40 brush from Sigma, I'm just basically, I don't know if you just heard Biscuit, but she sneezed in the background. Just tapping it right over top of our Bliss eyeshadow. And I'm going to be using one of my favorites. This is Arena. It's a really pretty kind of shimmery tan peach color. Still using our E40, I'm going to apply that to basically the area right above the crease, and just kind of in windshield wiper motions go back and forth like that. Then I'm going to switch up brushes. Any tapered blending brush will work. I'm using an E35 from Sigma and MAC Swiss Chocolate eyeshadow, which is just kind of a warm brown. Just take a very little bit on the end of the brush and place that right underneath Arena, kind of in the upper crease right there. Then go back to your E40, which still has some of that Arena eyeshadow on it. Blend it out. A little bit more Swiss Chocolate on the very end of my brush again, and just add a little bit of definition just in that outer V right here, just so the liner almost has something to kind of blend up into. Okay, now it's time for the fun part, which is adding our emerald green eyeliner. This is my Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil in Mildew, and this is the perfect emerald color. I love this eyeliner so much, and it's nice because I feel like I get a lot more use out of it during the holidays because it is kind of a festive color. So I'm applying that to my upper lash line. Basically start right by your lashes and then work up from there, and just continuing to wing out that liner just like that. And then I'm going to go underneath the eye and take it about halfway. This is my E30. And just want to go back and forth. And you just want to keep going back and forth over top of it until like the line starts to get a little blurry. And a little trick for blending out that outer corner, take the brush out and kind of swirl it in a tiny circle. Then what you want to do is take the very tip of your pencil brush, and right out here where your upper and lower lids meet, you want to just kind of flick it out like that, so you get kind of a somewhat of a cat eye shape going on, I guess. Next thing I'm going to do is add my Carbon Black Extra Intense Liquid Eyeliner Pencil to the waterline. And this eyeliner is really, really intense, just like they advertised. It's absolutely awesome. And I like it better than my Black Track Fluid line in the waterline. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my Black Track Fluid line by MAC, which is just a black cream gel eyeliner. And I'm using my E5 eyeliner brush. And I'm going to need a mirror. One second, hold that thought. There we go. So I'm just going to brush that right along the upper lash line, as close to the actual lash line as you can get it. Just like that. And we want to kind of make a mini version of the larger wing that we created with our emerald liner, and take it all the way in to the inner corner. But to add a little bit more smokiness, I'm going to be using a black eyeshadow. This is Carbon by MAC, and it's just a matte black. Use whatever you have. On an E65 angled brush from Sigma, I'm just tapping it over top. And you can pretty much hold it sideways like this, just to brush over top of it, and it'll kind of smokify your black eyeliner. So you just really want to concentrate on tapping that into the waterline, and then really pulling some of that black eyeshadow down into the green, like that. That's what's going to make it look really, really smoky and sultry. So now we're going to add some mascara. Okay, so I just applied my L'Oreal Voluminous False Lashes Mascara, which I've really been loving lately. So I applied 2 coats on the top and 1 coat on the bottom lashes, and now I'm going to apply my Revlon Falsies. I showed you these at the beginning, but they're the Revlon Fantasy Lengths Intensifying Lashes, and I found these at CVS. So I'm just going to take my little strip of lashes, and keeping my eye open, or trying to anyway, I'm just going to rest it down exactly where I want them. I have another video on a trick for applying false lashes, but I figured I would just stick with the traditional method today. So I'm going to make sure I hold both ends down while it's drying so that the ends don't pop up, because that's a dead giveaway you're wearing false lashes. Okay, and I will be back to show you the rest of my makeup. Okay guys, so for the rest of my face, I actually just applied my Cargo Medium Matte Bronzer, and I actually talked about that in my November favorites video a lot more in depth, so you can check that out if you want to. I'm going to skip that step though, I already applied this just to save time. And I actually picked out one of my favorite cheek colors. I feel like coral is really popular in the summertime, but it's so great all year round. It just like brings like a nice glow to your skin, and I think it complements a green eye look really well. This is the Bobbi Brown Pot Rouge for lips and cheeks. Actually, the color is 21 Cabo Coral, and you can see it's a really pretty color. So I'm actually going to apply that to my lips with my finger, just like you would a lip balm. Now I'm going to use my favorite brush for applying cream cheek color, which is my Sigmax Ingletop Kabuki F84 brush. But you can use, you know, any kind of synthetic brush that you have. This one's just really nice because it's so dense. And just tap it on the apples of your cheeks. And the best thing about this brush, if you apply too much cheek color, which can happen really easily, especially when you're using a really pigmented product, it happens to me all the time. You guys will see in my videos. I'm just like, just throw makeup on my face and I have to kind of blend it out later. But that's the great thing about these brushes, is that they really do blend everything to perfection, really. Okay, so now that we have a really nice warm flush to our cheeks to kind of balance out this dark dramatic look, I'm going to add a little bit of a glow using my Laura Mercier Peach Mosaic Shimmer Block. And I'm going to use a Duo Fiber F50 brush and tap it right on the front of my cheeks, and then brush it up the top of my cheekbones like that. And since I've already applied my Pot Rouge on my lips, all I really need on top of that is like a nice nude gloss. Looks gorgeous over that color. So I'm going to use my MAC lip gloss in Underage and just kind of pop that in the center. Like so. And that does it for this look. I hope you guys enjoyed this and have fun at all of your holiday parties and get-togethers and things like that. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.